you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now, if this is your first time here, hey, welcome. My name is DIANNE, and I'm super excited that you found your way here. Girl, what are you doing in Vietnam? I know you lying. Damn. Let me just dive into how I even said yes, okay? Because last time that I checked, I was never going back to the challenge. And so for me to say yes was a big deal. It was a big deal. So before I get into that, let me just clear up this little rumor, because apparently word on the curb is somebody went to production and was like, oh, it's either me or her. And allegedly the producers were like, oh, okay, well then it's gonna be you. And then that's why I've never been back. Let me just say this, y'all. That's my girl on TikTok. Let me just say this, y'all, okay? My last season was what? 33. I did seasons 32 and 33. I have been called for 34. I've been called for 35. I've been called for 36. I've been called for 37. I've been called for 38. I've been called for 39. And I've also been called for 40. And not just availability. I've been called after that. Like, are you sure? What can we say? Is there anything we can say to change your mind? Like, the calls have been calling, okay? They've been doing what they're supposed to do. So, no one is responsible for me not being on the show. I haven't been on the show because of me. I stole my car, Jody. Like, I haven't been there because of me. Let that be very clear. I just wanted to clear that up, because word on the curb is you're lying. You a lie, you a lie, you a lie. Gosh. Now that we got that out the way, let's get into how I actually ended up saying yes to doing the show. So when I declined season 40, Devin, Simone, and I got a call basically asking us to come out and host this big red carpet premiere, big extravaganza thing to open up for the season Challenge 40. And so, if you don't know, Devin, Simone, and I are half of the podcast hosts for the Challenge podcast. The other half are Anissa and Tori, who will be covering this season of All Stars, season 5. So make sure you guys listen to the Challenge podcast and support them. But yes, Devin, Simone, and I got a call to come to Vietnam and just kind of like do this big old red carpet, basically podcast in person situation, right? And I'm so mad because Devin and I got so much good footage that they didn't even show y'all. Like, we were on it. Like, the reason why Josh played such a selfish season this time was because we was in his room, all in his ear, like, hey, we ain't got time for the Vacation Alliance. You need to be worried about you, okay? Like, you got to put you first, Lucius. Like, we were talking about him, and it was just so good. And then we even went to Amanda's room and told her, hey, you need to go make up with Cara. We went to Cara and was like, hey, you need to link up with Amanda. Like, it was so good. Like, we had such good footage, and they didn't show none of the things. In any event, as the event is happening, Paulie pulls me aside and we have this great moment, and the camera was all in our face. So the fact that they didn't show it is crazy, but the camera was all in our face. Me and Paulie have this great moment where Paulie, his name is Paulie. Y'all, I was almost in tears sitting there talking to him. He was telling me, he was like, hey, you know, we started this thing together, so there's no reason why you shouldn't be here. Like, I'm supposed to be doing this. We supposed to be doing this together. Like, I really wish you was here. And he kind of like backed me into this corner and was having this conversation with me and just, you know, like letting me know. He never said I let him down, but that's the vibe that I got. Like, it was almost as if he was saying to me, like, you know, we supposed to be doing this together, and you kind of let me down because you dropped the ball. And I'm like, you know, so I'm all in my feelings. Like, did I make the wrong choice? Did I make a bad decision? I'm feeling bad. But it was a great moment, and like, I love Paulie, right? And so that moment happens. Then I have a moment with Lee. Lee pretty much, like, not saying the same thing because we didn't start together, but he just like, you know, you're supposed to be here, right? Like, what you doing? Then I have this conversation with Johnny. Johnny is like, he called me Day-Day. Day-Day, what's up? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to be here. Then Nerese, of course. And, you know, it just, a bunch of people were just like, what are you doing? And, you know, to have the viewers of the show, you know, I don't like the word fan, but to have the viewers of the show to be like, you know, we want you back. We want to see you come back. You know, this was your show. Big Brother's not really your show. This is your show. You do great here, blah, 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 blah. That's one thing. And I love and I appreciate that so much. It's a different feeling though when your coworkers, the cast members are like, hey, when you coming back? You know what I mean? Like, it's a different feeling. So I was all in my feelings. Like, my goodness, I was all in my feelings at the end of all of these conversations. So it's time for Devin and I to get some food. So we're in this little area eating our food, and it's me, Devin, TJ is across on another table, but he's like close enough for us to be conversing with each other, right? And there's a casting director right here. One of the casting directors is right here. So we're all sitting around and we're all talking. And shout out to TJ, because TJ is one of the only people who can say my name correctly. Everyone else is like, oh, Devin or Devon or, you know, whatever the case may be. And so all night, TJ was like, her name is Davon. Her name is Davon. Like, TJ, that's my dog, especially after this season. Like, I can't even go into detail, but that's my dog. Like, Julie is always gonna be my girl, but TJ, that's my dog, right? So anyway, yeah, so we're sitting around and we're talking, and then Devin gets up and she goes talking to somebody. Devin is such a social butterfly. Like, that girl was all over, like, when it comes to networking, my girl, like, her picture needs to be next to the definition in the dictionary, because my girl go network and get the job done. Do you understand me? Like, Devin is, my goodness, her work ethic is crazy. So anyway, she leaves, and now it's just me and the casting director. So the casting director is like, so you'll really never do another season, because we call and you say no, or whatever the case may be, so you'll never do another season. And I was like, no, like, I can't, it's too long. And I'm at the point, and my daughter is old enough to where I cannot leave her for that long. Like, she's fully aware now, and 3 months is out of control. Like, she'll be like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, Cadence, she's 10 now. So no, we're not playing the 3-month game no more. We're not doing that. And so she was like, okay. She was like, well, what about All Stars? And I was like, well, All Stars is for the OGs, so I don't really qualify for that. She was like, I go back to eating my food, y'all. The next thing I know, I got a producer here, I got a producer here, and it's another producer on the other side. So now at this point, it's me, producer, casting director. Devin's still going. And we're sitting around and we're talking. And so me and this one, and I ain't gonna say who it is, but you know who you are. Me and this person, this person says, so I hear you'll do All Stars. And I was like, well, All Stars is not for us. So, you know, I'm from CBS. How does that work? And they was like, well, you know, Cam came over. And I said, yeah, but Cam's roots are in MTV, so it makes sense. And they was like, okay, well, you know, we can always come up with something. And I was like, so what we gonna do? And it was like, we can tell you all that, but if we found a way to where it makes sense for you to come over, would you come? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, okay, let's do it. Because I'm thinking, like, there's no way. There ain't no way. Like, there's no way you're gonna throw CBS over here. Not gonna happen. Child, we leave Vietnam. The next week, I get a phone call from the casting director, and that person calls me, and they're like, so, you remember that conversation we had in Vietnam? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? And the person was like, well, obviously, we can't tell you anything. Like, we can't let you know what the theme is or how everything is going to go down, but we found a way. Are you willing? And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, okay, let's do it, right? And honestly, I feel like if they could have gotten the contract and got me to sign in Vietnam that night, they would have done it. But I'm so grateful that so many people, like, you know, are like Team Davon. That makes me so happy. Maybe a week and a half after that, I get another phone call. And it's like, so we're going to have to do like this questionnaire with you. And I'm like, okay, ask me all the questions. So they're like, well, who don't you get along with? And I was like, I get along with everybody. What you mean? I'm cool with everybody. I ain't even been on the show since 2018. So should nobody have no problems from 2018? Should nobody have no beef with me? Like, right? And then I got to thinking, I was like, oh, I do the podcast. And so, you know, there could be some people out there, I've heard, word on the curb, people out there that have issues with me from the podcast, because we're very vocal and we say what we want to say on the podcast. And so I thought back to the situation with Kellyanne. I'm gonna let you guys talk and then I'll talk when you guys are done. I thought back to that, you know, because she was really in her feelings about that. So I was like, okay, maybe Kellyanne got a problem with me. I thought back to when Michelle came on the podcast and she was like, it's not funny. She was like, I'm just gonna say it. I don't think you guys like me. Do you guys like me? Do you guys have a problem with me? Like, what's the issue? So I thought back to that because, okay, so let me give y'all a little tea right there. Because when I came to Vietnam for the 40 premiere, right? When, the red carpet thing, when I got there, Kellyanne was a little standoffish. And so I had to make her feel like there's no beef. Like, you can talk to me. And then when I made her feel comfortable enough to where she could talk to me, I think there was like, something was going on with my dress where it kept like slipping or something like that. And so she kept getting up to fix my dress. So, you know, the comfort level was there. Michelle kept her distance until I walked up to her. I said, come on, give me a hug. And she just kind of looked at me. I said, it's okay. Like, I don't have an issue with you. Give me a hug. So she stood up, we hugged, and then that was that. Like, it was just, I don't know, but I thought about them. The very first person that came to my mind, if I'm being honest, was Ashley Mitchell. You know, obviously because of the FUB, because I'm not even talking to you, that came to my mind. But word on the curb was she was blackballed. Now, no producer had ever told me this. No, like, this was all word on the curb, cast, and then like social media said she was blackballed. So I didn't say her name, but she was the very first person that popped into my mind. I wasn't saying no men. No men. Word on the curb also was that Shane had gotten blackballed. And so Shane wasn't even a thought. You know, from what I had saw, the little clips that I had saw, yeah, I was like, oh, he spilled tea. So maybe he's not coming back. So he wasn't even, and then obviously we all know like the big beef was Weston. And I wasn't saying that, not because I don't want to play the game with him, but because I think being paired with him, although he's a great player in the game, everybody knows his game. And so I feel like me being paired with Weston would put a huge target on my back. And ain't nobody got time for that. You know, I ain't been here since 2018. That's not what I want to do when I come back. So I'm just, you know, throwing out women or whatever. I didn't want to say Cara, even though, you know, the last big from War of the Worlds, you know, but we made up. Thanks to Polly, and I didn't want to open that back up. I wanted to leave that right where that was. I didn't want to open that back up. I wanted to leave that right where that was. And so I was like, okay. So I'm just throwing them names out, and they was like, we'll think about it. And so I'm looking at them like, you think about what? Because I'm not beefing with nobody. But what you think about what? I done told y'all, Kellyanne, Michelle, like, what y'all need to think about, right? Didn't hear anything else about who you don't like or who don't like you. Didn't hear anything else about that. And so I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I let that go. And I was hoping that they let that go, right? So I go, I do my physical, clear. I go, I do my psych, clear. I go do all the things. Everything clears, and now they send me my travel information. And that's when it got real for me. When they sent me my travel information, I was like, Devon, you really about to go. Like, you're really about to do this again. You ain't been in front of TJ and them as a cast member, because I was just with them for, you know, the red carpet, but as a cast member, you ain't been in front of them like that since 2018. Are you really ready to step back into the challenge world? And I was like, yeah, like, you know, let's do it. So I started getting hype about it. Then, yeah, we got to departure day, and I arrived at the airport. And now we can get into it, okay? So I get to the airport, and it's Leroy, Nani, Kellyanne, and Frank. Oh, no. Yeah, at the time. Frank was the last one. So it was Leroy, Nani, Kellyanne, and Frank. And then Dario arrived, and then Beth arrived, right? So as I'm walking up, the very first person I see is Lee, and I get excited because that's, you know, that's my boy. Like, I love Leroy, love Cam, love their whole family. I ain't never met the babies, but I'm their auntie in my mind. Like, love them down, right? And so I'm excited when I see Lee. And he run over to me, Davon, whatever. And so he's helping me with my luggage. And then Frank walks up, and Frank helps him with my luggage because I had things. And so they help with my luggage or whatever like that. And so Frank introduces himself to me, and I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? You know, nice to meet you, whatever. We hug, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, you know, I know who you are. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know you too. Mainly because Jose used to talk about him all the time, but I'll get into that when I do the first impressions. I'll talk about all of that. But, you know, I'm like, hey, Frank, how you doing? I give him a hug, blah, blah, blah. Like, I know Frank is a staple. Like, he's one of the people on this show, you know? So I know he has a reputation, whatever. I'm fully aware. So I see him. He's very kind, very nice, all of the things, right? I see Nani. I don't really know how it's gonna go with Nani because War of the Worlds, you know, she really wasn't fooling with me like that. We didn't have no beef, like me and Nani never got into it, but she really wasn't fooling with me like that. She had followed me on social media, and then she unfollowed me. I don't know what I did, but she unfollowed me on social media, so I didn't know what was gonna happen when I saw her. But she was like, hey, Davon, and she was like, you know, you remember me? And I'm like, yeah, I remember you, and conversation is smooth, it's cool. And she's telling me, she was like, I've always loved your confessionals, you're so funny, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, huh, okay, amen. Like, cool. So I'm cool, right? Who else was there? Kellyanne. I see Kellyanne, we hug, hey, how you doing? It's not as enthusiastic, of course, as Frank, Lee, and Nani, but you know, it's, hey, how you doing? Right? I don't know any other way to put it. But it's, hey, you know, right? I don't know any other way to put it. She might have still felt some type of way, but I don't know, because like I said, at the premiere or the red carpet thing, she was helping me with my dress. She was cool. So I don't know. I don't know. But you know, it was okay, right? It was okay. And so Dario walks up, we introduce ourselves to each other. He's very much in his own, like, I think mentally he had been preparing for what he was stepping into, you know, because he also had been gone for a long time. So I think he was having the same thoughts that I was, like, am I really about to do this again? So he was kind of like in his zone, but eventually he came out of that, but you know, that's where that was. Beth walks in. And she comes with her man, child. She comes in with her man, and she introduces us to him, and she, you know, starts checking in herself, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh my gosh, Davon. And so we start talking, and she just, blah, 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 like, Beth is, you hear me? She, and she's like, yeah. She was like, and I was watching you on the GOAT show. I didn't get to finish it, but I was watching you on the GOAT, and you were doing this, and you were doing that. And I was like, oh my gosh, and da-da-da-da-da, right? And she's just like running it down. And I'm like, we ain't gonna talk about the GOAT right here. Like, we don't wanna bring that energy into this show. Like, I was over there doing what I need to do over there, but over here, I'm on something else. Like, we don't, you know, calm down, right? And so she also let me know that she's really great friends with Marcellus from Big Brother. And so I thought that was really good. Like, Marcellus is great people, and I don't see Marcellus just hanging with just anybody. So the fact that her and Marcellus are close, I was like, okay, you must be cool people. So I'm excited to get to know you. Boom, bam, we check in everything, we go to eat. And so we're eating, and then they get ready to take our phones. And I get to have one last conversation with Cadence before they take my phone. And when I tell y'all, it tore me up. Like, I was a wreck. Now, in this moment, contrary to what anyone may think about Frank based on what they saw in his season, whatever, you know, the last time they seen him, whatever you feel about him based on, you know, whatever. In this moment, I got to see a side of him that made me be like, I was like, oh my gosh, because I was a wreck. I'm bawling. And he comes up to me and he just grabs me and he's like, can I? No. He comes up to me, he asks for permission first. He goes, can I hug you? And I'm like, yeah. And then he hugs me and I just fall apart, okay? Fall apart, because in this moment, I'm gonna miss my baby. Like, you know, she's older now. So the conversations between her and I are different. It's like, okay, so what's the day? And I'm gonna be checking down every day until you get, like, the conversation is different, you know? And so, it was rough. So he asked me, can he hug me? And then he hugs me and he's just like, it's okay. He's like, you're a great mom. You're doing this for her. Don't worry about it. He's pouring into me, giving me words of encouragement. Like, it's such a good feeling. And so I'm like, man, like, I appreciate you. So in that moment, I had made up my mind. Like, I don't know how he plays this game, but just based on the fact that you took the time to do that, I'm going to make sure that, you know, if I can, I'm going to try to hold you down throughout this game. Cause no, like, that meant something to me. And I know you probably like, girl, that was enough for you. Yes, that was enough for me because that touched my heart, you know? So it's not always about the game. Sometimes it can get personal, and that was really personal for me. And so I was very appreciative of that. And, you know, regardless, whatever, that is how I choose to remember Frank. I choose to remember him like that, right? So it's time to board the plane. It's time to board the plane, right? And so as we're walking to the terminal where we're supposed to be, whatever, I hear on the intercom, Ashley Mitchell to terminal blue, blue, blue. Ashley Mitchell to terminal blue, blue, blue. I said, where's she at? Because she was not at checkout. Where's she at? Okay? I ain't seen no bags. I ain't seen no Ashley. Where's she at? Ashley Mitchell to terminal blue, blue, blue. I said, oh my gosh, right? And so immediately, you know, because at this point, the streets have been talking. So we all pretty much know that this is some type of rivals season. We got it. And so when I hear Ashley, I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. That is about to be my rival, right? And so she doesn't show up though. I'm not exactly sure what happened with her flight. I don't know if she missed it or she got on the wrong flight. Something happened, but she didn't end up flying with us. She ended up flying with a completely different group. And so, but yeah, child, Ashley Mitchell to terminal, blah, 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 blah. I said, ooh. It's about to be a season. Do you hear me? And so, now let me say that. Let me say that. Contrary to what whoever thinks about whatever about Ashley, that girl name rings bells. Because when they said her name on the speaker, everybody stopped. Everybody stopped. And it was, where? Did you hear that? Is she here? Is she? I said, yes, my girl name holds weight. And so it was cool because, you know, I don't mind being paired with Ashley. Of course, she, like Weston, is a target. That's my only concern. I can work with Ashley, but my concern is her being a target, right? And so, but yeah, I was like, okay, cool. Ashley's coming. Lock that in. So we get on the flight, and the flight is forever. Do you hear me? We are on that flight forever. But baby, she slept. I got me some good sleep. I slept so good. Frank. I think that man wanted to come and check my pulse. I slept so good because I'm a parent. I am a parent, a full-time mama. Do you hear me? Full-time mother. I am in sports. I'm in extracurricular activities, friendship play dates, home activities. Mommy, can we do arts and crafts? Mommy, can we play games? Mommy, can we go here? Mommy, can we go there? Mommy, can we do this? Mommy, can we do? I'm all in. I live in that girl skin. Do you hear me? And so I don't get to sleep. I don't get to sleep because I am mommy around the clock. And so being on this flight, baby, I got the chance to catch up on some sleep. So I was down for the count. I was knocked out. Do you hear me? I don't know what happened on the flight. Couldn't tell you about nothing. I got up to eat, ate my food, gave it back, and went to sleep. Do you understand? And I got me some good rest. So we get to the hotel. It's so beautiful, so pretty. And I went to sleep. Because we done talked at the airport, like, you know, the new group, they're not coming in, or the other group, they're not coming in until tomorrow. I don't think there's nothing else for us to really talk about. Like, I'm going to bed. You know, if y'all want to, you know, strategize or whatever, don't care. I'm going to sleep. Okay? I'm going to bed. And so I went in my room and I went to sleep. And I tell you, when that other group came in, baby, they came in. I remember I was asleep and all I heard in the hallways was like it was just so much talking and so much screaming and oh my God and like all of the things. And so I come out and the first person I saw was Anissa, and I run to her, I give her a hug, and then I see Shane. Now I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Before departure day, Shane did DM me and was like, hey, you know, how you doing? How's Cadence? How's everything going in your life? I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know there's no bad blood between me and you. Like, we don't talk about the show. But he was just reaching out, I think, to like check my temperature. And, you know, I was just like, hey, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm sending it right back to him. And so in my mind, I'm like, I ain't talked to you since 1902. Okay? Me and you ain't had a conversation since Columbus sailed the ocean blue. What's happening? Why you in my DMs? Right? What's going on? Right? Obviously, I put two and two together. I'm about to see you. So when I come out the room and I see Anissa and then I see Shane and he walks up to me, he was like, I'm super sweaty, I'm super gross. He was like, I just got off the flight, like I'm super tired, but you know, I really want to talk to you. I want us to have a conversation. And he gives me a hug. He's like, you're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. All of the Shane, okay? All of the Shane of it. If you really know Shane, you know that he's such a... He's such a great person. Shane truly is a great person. I'm gonna save that for the first impressions. But you know, he's, you know, I love you, blah, blah, blah. He's all of the things, right? And so, yeah, so I'm introduced to all of the other people. You know, I meet T, I meet Melissa, I see Amber, Fessy's there, all of the people. Everybody else who I didn't name in the first half, okay? Everybody outside of me, Beth, Nani, Lee, Frank, Dario, and Kellyanne. Everybody else arrived, okay? And I think Ashley even came after that. I think Ashley came by herself. So, yes. Everybody is there now, and everybody is mixing and mingling, getting to know each other. We are in Sylvia's room, and everybody is ordering drinks and talking. I'm not drinking because I don't drink anymore. And let me say this, and let me just say this, y'all. Okay, let me say this: when you see me on the show and you see a drink in my hand, it is a mocktail. You can ask any cast member. You can ask any producer. I am drinking mocktails. There is no alcohol in my cup. I did not drink champagne, wine, liquor, nothing the entire time that I was there. Your girl was 1,000,000% no alcohol while I was there. Actually, me and Lee. If it was other people, I don't know. But for sure, me and Lee, no alcohol the entire time we were there. So, yes. Let me just put that out there because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some clips of me in the club with my little mocktail. It was juice. I had juice. Do you hear me? So we're all in Sylvia's room and everyone's drinking, everyone's talking and all of the things. Me and Shane have this really heartfelt conversation where we go back to that. And his perspective of what happened at that time is totally different than it was in that moment. Obviously, that was 2000 and actually that was 2017. No, I think that was still 2018 because I think we filmed Final Reckoning in the first half and then we filmed War of the Worlds in the second half of that year. So it might have still been 2018. I don't remember. But he goes back to Final Reckoning and we have the conversation, right? We end up hugging it out. It's great. Like, we cool going into this situation. We don't know for sure if we're going to be partners because Ashley is there, right? Ashley is like the, you know, and Ashley doesn't make sense with anybody else unless Hunter is coming. It's not... The math ain't mathing for Ashley to be with anybody else. And, you know, fast forward, we find out it's her and Anissa. But in that moment, nobody was thinking Anissa, like, at all. And so I thought that, you know, maybe I was going to have a trio. You know, a little too much dip on my chip, possibly. I don't know. But I thought that, you know, I had options. I had Shane, I had Ashley. I had options. Nothing really happened that I was a part of. Like, that second group was turning up. Oh, I never got a chance to meet Adam and Steve because they didn't come out their rooms. So, or at least not when I was out. They didn't come out when I was out. Turbo either, not when I was out. So, but everybody else was doing their thing. So if there is tea and juice and so, oh, me and Amber had a really great conversation. I don't want to go into detail about what that was about because that was really personal, but I got an opportunity to really get to know her and love her down. Do you hear me? Love her down. Like, people can say what they want to say about her. That's a strong woman. That is a strong woman, and I will always support her, and I will always love her down. Okay, probably should have said that for the first impressions. I don't know, but if any juice and tea, and I'm pretty sure that there is some, because they were turning up and things were going on. I'm not the one who's gonna give it to you because I went to bed. So I went to sleep. I mixed, I mingled, I said hey, all of the things, and then your girl went to bed, and then we stayed there. I don't remember if it was 2 or 3 days. We stayed there, and then it was like, all right, put your premiere outfit on and get ready because we about to go. And everybody got dressed. Everybody got in the hallway. And after I got dressed, I hear at my door, it's Shane in the game. Shane's like, let me see what you're wearing in the hallway. He goes, let me see what you're wearing. And he goes, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Shuts the door and goes, anyway, look, this is what I want to say. My boy is always playing. Do you hear me? He's always playing. And so he comes in, he was like, look, if I am your partner, great, I got your back. If I'm not your partner, I still want to have your back because I love you and I love Cadence, and I still, I want to make things right between the two of us. And so I still want to have your back. I'm asking, can you have my back? And so, I'm trying to learn how to give people grace because God gives me grace every single day. And who am I to think that I'm better than that? So who am I to be like, I ain't giving you no grace? What? Because if the Lord did that to me, my goodness, some of the things that I actually deserve, Jesus, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'm trying to learn how to give people grace and forgiveness and just start fresh. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, no, I got you. No problem. As far as I can, I got you. No problem. And so he's like, okay, he's like, I have this person. I have this person. And he starts running it down to me. I got this person, this person, this person. I'm also linked to this person. And then through this person, I'm linked to this. Like, he's running it down to me. And I'm like, okay, cool. You got a lot of people locked in. Okay, cool. And then he's like, okay, great. And he walks out of my room and that's it. And then we get in the cars and we take off. And that's going to lead to the episode 1 recap. Now, let's get into these first impressions. My goodness, I did not think that all of that was going to take this long. But let's get to the first impressions video. Goodness gracious.